All right, so at this point, you've probably seen one of the many videos popping up about this Yotta Savings account. And you might be wondering, what's going on here? What's all this hype about? Is this legit? Well, in this video, I'm going to be peeling back the curtain on the Yotta Savings account, showing you why it's getting all of this hype, how it works, and whether or not it is going to make sense for you. And then we're also going to be diving into my account, kind of diving under the hood and showing you exactly how this thing works from the inside. Also, real quick before we dive in, if you decide at any point throughout the video that you do want to sign up for a Yotta Savings account, I've got my referral link in the description below that you can use to sign up, and we'll both get 100 extra tickets. You don't have to use my referral link, but I'd recommend you use someone's, because if you don't sign up with the referral link, you don't get the 100 extra tickets. And the more tickets you got, the more chances to win. So without further ado, let's dive on into the video. All right, so let's start this conversation by talking about prize-linked savings accounts, because that is what Yotta is. It's a prize-linked savings account. And while these aren't very popular in the US, they've actually been around for a very long time, since the 1600s. So in the late 1600s, the UK actually launched the first prize-linked savings account in order to pay down some military debt that they had accrued. They're now popping up across the US as a way to incentivize lower income individuals to save more. Now, in my opinion, the lottery is really just a tax on the poor and a very significant moneymaker for individual states. For some context, last year, US lotteries brought in over 91 billion with a B dollars, while the savings rate for individuals remained well below 10%. This is not, in my opinion, a recipe for long-term financial success. And so cue the prize-linked savings account, which is theoretically a way to solve both of these issues, okay? Incentivize people to save more by gamifying savings and by incorporating some lottery aspects, while also trying to quench people's need to participate in the lottery by offering them this savings vehicle that should theoretically get them to save more, spend less on lottery tickets. Sounds great in theory. How about in practice? Well, there was this study that came out of Harvard Business School a little while ago that actually took a look at this, and they were like, hey, does this actually work? Okay, does this actually accomplish both of these goals? And what they found was, yes, it does. Okay, so what they found was that there was a 1% increase in an individual's savings rate relative to their income. So if they were ordinarily saving 8%, that bumped to 9%. And it caused a significant decrease in the money that was spent on lottery tickets, okay? People didn't feel the need to participate in the lottery as much. Now, 1% increase, not a huge increase in the grand scheme of things, but it did show that these accounts are accomplishing their goal that they're setting out to do, which is get people to save more, spend less on lottery tickets, and all in all, seems like a pretty good thing. One caveat that I do want to give to this study, though, was that it only looked at one bank. That bank was in South Africa, so extrapolating this to the entire world might be a bit of a stretch. But for me, this is a sign in the right direction that these accounts are probably having some kind of positive effect. All right, so now we go to Yotta. So Yotta is set up as a traditional prize-linked savings account, but there are a couple key features that make Yotta different from some of the other prize-linked savings accounts out there. The first of which is the grand prize. Okay, so typically with a prize-linked savings account, you're looking at prizes that range anywhere from about $1,000 to like $50,000 on the high end. And while 50 grand, that's nothing to scoff at. Okay, that's over the average wage of the average American. It's nothing to make your jaw hit the floor. Okay, so Yotta leaves these guys in the dust though, okay, because their grand prize is $10 million. And this is one of the things that I believe is getting them a lot more attention than these other prize-linked savings accounts. While the odds of winning this $10 million is over 1 in 8 billion, okay, 8 billion, that's like how many people there are on this planet. The odds of winning are very, very low, but just having that prize on the board really gets people's attention, you know? People always think that could be me, and I think this is one of the things that's really driving a lot of people to Yotta right now. Now, the second thing that sets Yotta apart is how the prizes are actually paid out. So typically, prize-linked savings accounts are offered by banks or other financial institutions like credit unions, but Yotta is not a bank, okay? So what they do is they're partnered with a third-party insurance company that actually draws the numbers and pays out the prizes. Now, there are two key effects of this relationship that are important to keep in mind. First of which is that it means that the system is double blind, okay? So the insurance company can't see what numbers are on Yotta users' tickets. Okay, so they can't rig the game by saying, oh, nobody put 17 on their ticket, so we're going to pull 17 today. They can't do that. Okay. It also means that Yotta can't influence which numbers are drawn because the insurance company has full control over that. The second thing that happens here is that Yotta actually doesn't care if anyone wins the grand prize or if anyone wins any of the prizes at all, because it's not Yotta's money that's paying for the prizes, at least not directly. Okay. So how this works is the insurance company is the one paying out all of the prizes, and Yotta is paying a flat rate to the insurance company based on the expected payout that the insurance company is going to have to make. Okay, insurance companies, they have these underwriters, they can figure out the probabilities of all these different things happening. They figure out how much to charge Yotta. Yotta pays them, and then they cover the odds that once in a blue moon, they're going to have to pay out $10 million to an individual who wins big. Now, the last thing to cover here is how the app actually works on the inside and what your odds are of winning these prizes. I know I said with the $10 million, it's over 1 in 8 billion, but there's a bunch of other smaller prizes as well that are going to help you actually get a return over time and not just rely on you waiting for that one big payday to hit. Now, the last thing to cover is how the app actually works and what your chances are of winning. So to do that, we're going to dive into my phone and I'm going to show you exactly in my account how everything works and how everything is set up. Now, before we do though, I just want to address quickly why this app seems to be popping off so quickly. Many personal finance YouTubers, many large personal finance YouTubers are angel investors in the app. Okay, that means they invested some of their money into this app. They own a piece of the company. Now, most of them that I've seen have been very upfront about this and are very transparent in their videos, like, hey, I own some of this company. But I think it's just important when you're consuming any kind of content online, think about what kind of incentive the person has. And in this case, I mean, these guys have a little bit more of an incentive than most to attract new users to this app. I'm not saying that's inherently good or bad, but I'm just saying keep this in mind whenever you're consuming content where the person might have an interest for you to do something. Now, on the apps part, I think this was a really smart move, okay? Most new financial apps, fintech startups have pretty lucrative affiliate programs that they use to drive initial traffic. So Webull, for example, is an affiliate program that's been very lucrative to a lot of larger personal finance YouTube channels, some of which are making tens of thousands of dollars per month from this single affiliate promotion. When you start to add that up for Webull, okay, say they've got even just 10 influencers making $20,000 a month with one promotion, okay, that drains the company bank account fairly quickly. I mean, they're sitting on a lot of venture capital money, but still, I mean, that kind of money going out to affiliates, it adds up, okay? But what Yotta's done, on the other hand, I think this is really, really a cool setup, okay? They're getting the influencers to both fund the company bank account while also promoting the app. And yes, they've had to sell some of their company long term. They're going to own less of their company, but short term, they're getting money and they're getting promotions, which is a decent recipe for success when it comes to launching a new app, a new service to the public. And honestly, hearing some of the numbers from Yotta and from some of my buddies who are investors here, this is working very well for them at attracting new users. I mean, their growth rate is crazy right now. So I think that a lot of other fintech companies and financial apps are going to pay attention here and start thinking about, okay, who are the key influencers in this space that I could potentially get as investors to both give me some money and to also promote the app. Now, again, like I said, they're giving away part of their company. In the long term, they own less of their company. And so that's an asset that they're selling. But in the short term, I mean, getting that traction is really, really important. And this is proving so far to be a really effective way of doing that. But enough of that, let's get back to the app. Let's dive into my phone and show you exactly how it works. So diving into my Yotta Savings account here, as you can see, I've got a little over 40 grand in my account at the moment. Now, if you're just getting started, if you're just thinking about starting here, don't worry, you don't have to fund your account with that much. This was just some cash that I had sitting in short-term treasuries, and with interest rates as low as they are, it didn't really make a ton of sense for me to keep it there rather than moving it here. So I decided to move it over. Also, I want to say that Ask Sebi has a great video breaking down the expected APY of a Yotta Savings account. He did kind of all the math behind it. So that was one of the things that really pushed me over the edge and was like, hey, I'd be getting a lot more expected return in this Yotta Savings account than I would just sitting in these treasuries. So that's why I decided to move some of this cash that I was sitting on from treasuries over to Yotta. Now, this is definitely not financial advice. This made sense for my personal situation, but I do not want to speak on anybody else's situation. Sebi's conclusion was that With Yotta, you're going to average out to about 1.8 to 2% APY, which is significantly higher than what I was getting in treasuries. So essentially how this works is at the beginning of every week, you get some tickets. And for every $25 that you have in your Yotta account, you get one ticket. Okay, so you've got $100 in your account, you're going to get 4 tickets. And with these tickets, you basically get to select, if you've ever played the Powerball before, it's kind of like that. You select your individual numbers, and then based on the numbers that are drawn throughout the week, you're going to win some prizes potentially. So if you've got a lot of tickets, it's going to take way too long for you to individually select all those numbers. So they also have an auto select feature that will just autofill all your tickets for you, which is what I do, because if I was picking my numbers for all 1,000 plus tickets, it would take a very long time. So once you've got your numbers picked, every day throughout the week, a number is drawn by this insurance company. And depending on whether or how many matches you get on your tickets, that's going to determine the prizes that you win at the end of the week. Okay, so all the prizes are paid out on Sunday, because on Sunday, the last ball is drawn, and then you can see how many matches you had on your various tickets. So diving into the prizes that you can actually win here. So as you can see on the low end, they start off at 10 cents, works its way all the way up to $10 million. All right, so essentially how this works is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On all of those days, a yellow ball is drawn. And then on Sunday, the red Yotta ball is drawn, okay? And so if you just match the red Yotta ball, that's where the 10 cents comes in. And so any of the configurations that you see that have the red ball require the Yotta ball to match. If they don't have that, then it can be any of the balls from Monday through Saturday to match for you to win the prize. So for example, to win a Tesla, you need to match every single yellow ball from Monday through Saturday and not match the red Yotta ball on Sunday. Hopefully that makes sense. If you've ever played the Powerball before, prize configuration is very similar. But if you haven't, if you're not super into the lottery, then this might be a new kind of concept for you. Now, in addition to potentially winning some prizes, you're also going to be getting a consistent 0.2% in interest paid out to you on the first of every month. All right, so as someone who has a habit of reading the IRS tax codes for fun, I think it's important to touch on the taxability of your Yotta account, okay? So in general, there are 2 ways that money is going to be taxed when you get it, okay? Either as capital gains or as ordinary income, okay? Capital gains rates are going to be lower, at least right now as of recording this video. Time will tell after this election where things shake out, but currently, capital gains rates are lower than your ordinary income rates, okay? And you get capital gains treatment on investments in things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, things of that nature, okay? Ordinary income is for your ordinary income, okay? When you get your W-2, you get paid by your employer, that's gonna be taxed at your ordinary tax brackets, as you would think of them, okay? So in general, you're going to want capital gains more than you're going to want ordinary income because it's taxed at a lower rate. You get to keep more of it. Uncle Sam takes less of it. Now, with your Yotta account, all of it's going to be taxed as ordinary income, okay? And this is the same as like a traditional like high yield savings account or whatever. Like that's treated as ordinary income, okay? It's not capital gains. And so this isn't probably going to be a huge deal. I mean, if you win the $10 million jackpot, you're probably going to go up a couple tax brackets. Honestly, you're not going to get much sympathy from me on that. I mean, if you just won $10 million, I think you'll be fine paying a little bit in taxes, but it is important to keep in mind if you do win some bigger prizes that it could potentially push you into a higher tax bracket. But again, if you're getting pushed into a higher tax bracket because you won some money from Yotta, you're probably not going to be getting much sympathy from me or from anyone else. Now, if you're sold, if you're like, yes, I'm ready to go, I want to open a Yotta account, this seems dope. Again, my referral link is down in the description below. When you use that, we both get 100 extra tickets. Again, you don't got to use mine, but I would use someone's so that you can score those 100 extra tickets and get as many chances as possible to win some cool prizes. Now, the next thing you should do is click the subscribe button down below and check out this video over here where I talk about my top 10 passive income ideas that you probably haven't heard of before so that you can start funding your Yotta account and getting as many tickets as possible.